morning, everybody, and welcome to another Monday Morning Live with Nat. And next to me, I have got one of my authors, Susan Banhegyi, from currently 1 a.m. in Hungary. Yeah, can you believe it? She's traveled to Mexico for a crypto conference, was it?
Wealth and Crypto.
Yeah. Wealth and Crypto conference, hung out with Robert Kiyosaki and a couple of her other mentors that she's like aspires to be like, yeah. And then she's flown to see her son in Hungary and doing her in-house quarantine at the moment. But it's interesting. We've had a bit of a chat before our real chat. So she's here with us this morning for half an hour to share about this world that I am not really competent or have any much knowledge about it. I've read a couple of little things, but I still don't get it. So hopefully you'll shed a little bit of light with me. And of course, today's topic is my romance with crypto, because Susan wrote a book, guys, called Women in Crypto. Let me just share my screen and show you her cover. This is her book. She didn't have it with her on hand, flying across the world, and I didn't have it here in my Queensland house. So we can share the screen, right? And this is the book she wrote with us and made it a #1 bestseller. Actually, this is the version I haven't got the stamp on, so I'm sorry. But it is an Amazon #1 bestseller. And it's about creating and growing your own damn wealth. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Good evening, Susan. You're a little bit jet lagged?
Yes, a little bit. I just arrived yesterday, but I'm holding up pretty well. I'll have a good sleep after.
Awesome. Yeah, I was so curious to find out how you traveled around a couple of spots, and obviously when you come back home you'll have to do the quarantine here as well, but maybe you could write your next book in that quarantine.
yeah.
I love it. But
the world with quarantine.
Oh yeah, I know, and so many people do it. I did it as well. So if you want to get stuff done and go and be around people who are key connections for you now, right? You hung out and had dinner with some really amazing entrepreneurs. So, but here is your introduction, because not only did she hang out with them, but Susan herself is a serial entrepreneur, and she has run several multi-million-dollar ventures during her varied career, stemming from her commitment to excellence with a focus on projects that promote social good and conscious capitalism, including sustainable design, slow fashion, organic food production, property development, and in the last few years, the crypto space. So Susan's mission as the founder of Crypto Women Global is to educate 1 million women to learn how to safely navigate the crypto space and to fund women's projects around the world to help lift women and their communities out of poverty. So, wow, I'm so curious to learn so much from you. I've got my coffee. I'm not going to talk very much. I'm going to let you do the talking. So tell me about this. Obviously, it's very women-centric. What is it, about why women in crypto? What is it that you have found out about this space?
Well, when I first got into it seriously in 2015, I started going to crypto conferences, and it really was obvious that there were no women around. Like there would be 2 or 3 women besides me, and it turned out there were waitresses for the event. And I would say I'm literally the only woman out of 880 attendees. Like, what is going on? And so I started to look into it, and networking events. I would ask women, have you heard about crypto? Why aren't you in it? What's holding you back? I really went on some research. And then about a year later, or maybe even less, I decided to found Crypto Women Global, because the answers were always the same. Young, old, didn't matter. It was that they were afraid it was too techy, would fly over their heads. It was too male dominated, which that's true, but they're actually really lovely guys that are in this space. And that they would be laughed at or humiliated, or that they would lose a lot of money. So everybody had the same answers, and I'd gone through some growing pains and some, quite a steep learning curve. So I thought, well, I've made mistakes, I've learned from them, but I got through it. It's not really that difficult. And so I thought, okay, well, if I could do it, I can help other people to do it. And because I'm so passionately convinced that it is the future of money, and the future of society. And these new financial systems are being created as we speak now. It's like 5 years now, nearly 6, that I'm in this space. And women's voices are missing from the conversations. Like if we're talking about building future societies and systems, surely women must have a greater voice in the building of that. So
Wow.
that's what prompted me.
And so how long was your book sort of churning within you? I mean, obviously this has been so rapid, like 5 or 6, this is the 6th year since you started, being
Yeah,
2015, the
it's
start.
nearly 6. Yeah.
And you
So,
wrote the book last year. I think you were at the August retreat, and we had it ready by the end or early in the year. It was Amazon bestseller, and so it's
yeah.
you've had, so tell me a little bit about how long had you been thinking about the book?
Well, it was mostly other people who kept asking me about the book.
Right.
I mean, I've been thinking about writing a book for 20 years. I actually have done some writing, but unpublished. So being a writer has been with me for, a couple of decades.
Yeah.
I never sort of concretely made a commitment to it or didn't really plan out how it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But then as I got more into Crypto Women Global, women kept asking me, well, there's so much information here. Why don't you write a book? And I thought, actually, that's not a bad idea, because as a first book, rather than my whole life story, which is overwhelming,
Yes.
I'll start with something that I'm super interested in. I have, fairly good skill sets in, and it might be a good introduction to writing, and also get out a lot of important information for women to read up on.
Yeah,
It was
amazing.
probably a good year before I joined the retreat
Yes.
that I'd sort of build up to it, and then
Yeah.
and then we jumped in.
And you did, I've always said, and I said to you before we got on the call, the quiet one in the background that sometimes doesn't even have a video on, like on some of the Zoom calls, but you're always like chipping away, you're doing the work, you're listening, you're following through, you're not a rah-rah person,
Yeah,
know
no.
your stuff. Yeah. So it's really, really inspiring. And everything you said before about the fears that women have, like
Mm.
I can see, like, even, I haven't got into that space, but I'm like, yeah, those would be my fears and all that.
Yeah.
Is that something
Mhm.
you talk through in the book?
I do. It's actually my own personal journey with the crypto
Yeah,
space. So it's not literally a how-to, because
sure.
obviously I'm
Everyone.
not a licensed financial advisor,
Yeah.
and that wouldn't be appropriate. But it is my personal journey, warts and all, the money I've lost when I was scammed, why I fell in love with it, why I see the future of it being so promising. So yeah, it's really, as the title says, my romance with crypto, because that's really what it feels like. I fell in love with it when I first heard about it. And
Yeah.
we had our ups and downs,
Yeah.
and then, but it's building and growing into something deeper. Yeah.
So then let's talk about this decentralization that will change the world that you talk about. Can you
Yeah.
explain it to me? Because I'm not even sure what that even means. I'm just being honest. Like when I don't know
Yeah.
stuff, I don't know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, our current systems are all very centralized. We have the central banking system. Each country has their governmental system, which is very hierarchical. Power from the top down. Um, they're all fairly male dominated. I think everyone can agree. All of our systems are very patriarchal. Um, but crypto was founded or created as a direct response to the GFC of 2008, when the
Yes.
world was in a panic, especially in America. People by the millions were losing their homes and jobs, security, and this was sort of offered to the world as an alternative, that we don't have to go along with these corrupt, very often corrupt systems that don't serve the general population. They serve a few at the top and are very exploitative, and just not society centric, if you will. And so this was offered as an alternative to address that and have a more egalitarian. Actually, Bitcoin itself has a lot of very feminine qualities in the sense that it's inclusive, not competitive. It doesn't have that hierarchy. It's very egalitarian, as in the network approves everything. It's not dependent on one person or a few people. There is no top to aspire to. You know, the code and the network are what offers the fairness and the egalitarianism, if you like. So they're quite feminine qualities if you think about it, because women like to cooperate, women like to work in groups and things like that. So decentralization is going to affect everything, because blockchain is a decentralized system, open source, uncorruptible, trustless. You don't have to trust anybody. The system just does everything transparently in a non-authoritarian way. So with smart contracts coming on board and a lot of these blockchains, decentralization will be the new norm, and it's already here. It's just going to build more and more and take over more and more industries. And so in general, it's going to serve society better because of the incorruptibility, because of the, I guess, neutrality, if you want to call it, but mixed with accountability and transparency, which we all want but are not getting. And so that will eventually, I think, you know, over time, as we transition over, will offer better societies.
Wow, amazing.
Women have to take part in this.
Yes, yeah, totally. Like, you know, so that, you know, we can then all be led by people like yourself and those that do step up and, you know, do, you know, understand it and then can share the message. There's only one of you, right? You can't do it alone.
Yeah, that's right.
Love
Well,
it.
that's why it's plural with Crypto Women Global. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that one of the things that are you a mentor for people who want to get into this space? Like what kind of, what kind
Yeah.
of stuff do you do? Let me explain it to me, because who knows, I
Yeah.
might be interested.
Yeah, that's right. Well, last year I was working on an online course,
Yep.
like an intro type thing, and then COVID hit and got sidetracked. But last year I got invited to do a lot of interviews and appear on wealth summits. And every time I appeared somewhere, I would get, you know, 20 women contacting me about, oh, I'm really interested in crypto. Of course, you know, last year was pretty rough on everybody. There was a lot of fear around about the future, about their financial security. And so I guess it was very timely. And I didn't feel prepared because in my mind I'm working on this online course, I've got to get this out. And so it sort of caught me by surprise. And I just ad hoc started saying to people, well, look, I'll just mentor you one-on-one. How's that? And they said, oh yeah, that'd be great. Okay, fine. And then I sort of talked myself into a corner because it's quite time consuming
Oh my
doing it
goodness. Yeah.
one-on-one, you know.
I'm just
And
thinking,
so
yeah, like 20 women, what? Like even just the first lot, how would you even ever service them? Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So I got to the point where I couldn't take on any more people. Plus, my research time kept growing. Like 5 years ago, I'd probably research 2 hours a day. Now I'm up to 5, 6 hours a day because things are just growing so fast and happening so fast that in this space that you really think like I can barely keep my nose above water, basically, you know. So this year I decided definitely after the book took, you know, a big chunk of my time last year as well. So this year, definitely, as soon as I get back, we're already preparing the website and the online platform, and the
Good.
courses are probably 90% done. So we're launching after July.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Definitely in this space, there is interest and
yeah,
there's not
definitely.
enough of you. I mean, if you want to
No,
stay ahead of the game and keep your research and then deliver that back in as bonuses or in a membership
yeah,
area where you keep people updated,
exactly.
that's the
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
stuff you need to, you know, kind
Yeah,
of spread. Yeah.
yeah.
Funny enough, this Thursday, we're starting an online program creation boot camp with about 12 of our authors who will be creating their course, because I mean, I know how hard it is one-on-one. I did it for the first 3 years,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can't make as big an impact,
No,
Yeah.
no.
And
I mean, I think you can make a big impact to the person,
of course,
but not on a grand scale. Yeah,
which
that's right.
your vision is, to change,
Yeah,
the society and
yeah,
impact
yeah.
globally. So tell me about then the future of money. You talk about let us understand the difference between digital currency and crypto.
Mm,
What is the
yeah.
difference?
So this is one of my pet peeves because, of course, there's a lot of talk now about digital currencies. Most governments around the world, Australia included, have been working and pushing for cashless societies and trying to withdraw cash, which, I mean, they're claiming it's dirty money and it's for health reasons, but that's not really quite true. They've been planning this for quite some time. And it's because cash gives you a certain anonymity. Once you've got cash in your hand, nobody really knows where you've spent it, where you've been, whether you've bought chewing gum or, went to
Yeah,
the races, right? So
yeah,
it gives you a certain privacy and anonymity, and that no longer suits the central banking systems. And so now they've come out with these, they're pushing hard for these digital currencies, are called CBDCs, which are central bank digital currencies. And every government in the world is now pushing for this. I think the yuan is nearly there actually to release theirs, but Australia is planning one. The States are definitely planning one. But what people don't understand is that it's the complete opposite, and there's a lot of misconception. And my pet peeve is when people conflate the two. The digital currencies are the same as crypto, and in fact, they're the complete opposite, because digital currencies through governments and central banks are going to be deliberately planned as surveillance coins. So every single penny that you spend wherever you are is going to reveal a whole bunch of information about you, how much you've spent, where you were, what time it was, what day it was, possibly even who you were with, like everything. True crypto is the complete opposite. It gives you the anonymity of cash, or maybe not full anonymity because the blockchain is open, but pseudo anonymity in the sense that they're just numbers. They're not related to identities per
got
se.
it.
Um, but you have that privacy back, or that that you can send to anyone, anywhere, buy anything, and nobody can trace or follow you. I mean, with very, very sophisticated, but they're already addressing things like that as well with privacy coins, which are much, much harder to track. And so they're two very, very different concepts. It's important to understand that.
I get it now. I get a little bit of it, yeah,
Yeah.
of what you mean. So can you
Mm.
buy anything with crypto? Like how does
More and more, yeah.
more
Like now you can buy houses for
right?
Bitcoin. Tesla just a couple of weeks ago came out, said that they would now be accepting Bitcoin for Tesla cars. Then Elon sort of reversed a little bit on that, only because he's concerned about the sustainability of the way the miners mine the coins. So they're having meetings at the moment, but actually 76% of all miners are already using renewable energy. So I think it's a much less of a concern that he seems to think, but it's great that he's looking into it because, he's the king of, solar panels and electric vehicles. So if you've got someone like that on your side and maybe even help out to increase that 76% to 96%, that's a good thing.
Mm,
Um, but I don't think it's as much of a problem as it's made out to be.
yeah. So more people and transactions can be
Mm.
utilized using cryptocurrency
Yeah,
as,
and
as
more
time passes.
shops are accepting them. There's more and more here in Europe. There are a lot more even ATMs that you can take cash out with your Bitcoin card. There's more and more Bitcoin credit cards that you can order. and then you
So there
can
are
put
actual cards that you can use. Yep.
oh yeah, there's like half a dozen of them now and more every year. So it's a definitely increasing year on year, and depending on where you are geography, Australia is a little bit behind with this,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it'll
Cool.
catch up.
Yeah, I know I had a couple of ladies at my party the other night, sisters that actually wrote a book on, cryptocurrency and all that with us
Yeah,
3 or 4 years ago. And we
all
sort
right.
of, we sort of caught up, and they knew of you and all that kind of stuff. And I said, how's it going? Yes, yeah, we're still, like you say, learning and doing
Yeah.
different things. So if
Mm.
someone was completely, inept like me about this, what would you give? What's your biggest advice would you give them? Is it about read my book first, or what is it that you normally tell them? Like, where does one person start? Because there's so much information out there.
It is. It is so much information. People often come to me and say, especially a few weeks ago when the price was skyrocketing, I got people calling me every day saying, oh my God, the price is going up. So quick, just help me buy some Bitcoin. I can still get in it before it goes sky high. And I always say to them, okay, yeah, just relax. We'll get some Bitcoin, but that'll be step 4 or 5, because there's no point in rushing into buying Bitcoin unless you've wrapped your head around how to stay safe,
Right.
how to buy it safely, how to store it safely, how to protect your privacy. Because there's no point in buying it if someone's going to hack it from you. You're going to use public Wi-Fi, a big no-no. You've got to wrap your head around how to protect. This is the main thing to take away is there is no customer service in crypto. There is no
You're
buddy
it.
you can call. You're it. It's
Yeah.
your money. You got to look after it,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you really have to change your mindset that you are an individual, a sovereign individual responsible for yourself. And then once you understand and how to do it properly, how to protect your privacy and your security, then you can start expanding and buying a bit of this, a bit of that, and then there's almost no end to where you can take it. But those are the most important things, I think.
So what you're saying is there is a psychology behind it, and not to rush and all that,
No,
to,
yeah,
to kind of understand the safety and how you need to look after yourself.
yeah.
Just like, is it a little bit, sorry to be ignorant maybe, but is it a bit like, which when we think about shares, when people freak out in things going up or things coming down and all that, is there a bit of that kind of psychology behind this as well?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the markets will do what they will do, but
Yeah.
you also have to address your mindset in that nothing will ever go up continually, right? I mean, if you look at the chart of Bitcoin over the last 12 years, it's gone up on average, some years much more, but on average 200 to 300% per year.
Right.
So it's been the best performing asset in human history by
Right.
far, by like far. So if you take a long-term view, particularly with Bitcoin, if you take a long-term view, there's no question that you'll come out very, very well. But you can't look at it week to week or day to day, because those people who wanted to rush in, say, in February when it was nearly 75,000 Aussie, would have been better off to wait to now when there's been a 40% correction and now they can get in at 50, and the market's always going to do that. But that doesn't mean that by next Easter, it's not going to be 150,000, which it probably will be, So there's no point in rushing. That's not a good strategy. You've got to have a long-term strategy and just, hold your emotions in check.
Like they say, with buying property, it does do that, those little dips, but if you
Yeah,
look at it over a 10-year period,
exactly.
it's like even in business or networking, let's say, people go to 1 or 2 networking events and they might have success and then nothing happens for a while, all that. But if you actually focus on building your relationships, and I always say it's a slow burn, you got to be
Exactly.
I think with anything that's you achieve success in life, you've got to be in for the long term, not for
Absolutely.
because I think we saw the attitude of maybe people, I don't know if this was 3 or 4 years ago, where Bitcoin, everything on social media was about cryptocurrency and all that, and people were putting their charts and graphs and all that, and it was happening for 4 to 6 months, and then all of a sudden it was like no one's talking
Gone.
about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
is it those people who are in for the quick thing and then
Yeah.
actually, yeah, okay, so I get it.
And actually, it's a good point you bring up, because within crypto diehards, those people are called weak hands, in the sense that people who only get into it when the price is going up to make a quick buck are actually not the kind of people that will benefit the space, because they're not going to help grow the space or expand the space or improve the space, right? As soon as the price goes down, they'll sell, because they don't believe in it. It's not a heartfelt thing. And so in the space, there is that saying, when there's a huge dip, is that we'll get rid of some weak hands, and that will only make the system stronger, right? Because the more committed people you have in there to build this as a future, the quicker that future is going to come about.
Yeah, I love it.
It's not about making a quick buck. No.
Good. I'm glad you clarified that, because that's what I would suspect. That's what I've always said to my husband. Like I said, if you're going to go into shares or property or crypto or whatever it is, you got to study it. You got to invest time to read books, to listen to seminars, to go to conferences like you do. You got to make it your kind of. That's why I said to you before we started the call, I've got my zone of genius of helping people write their books, and that's how I'm building my wealth in future and investing in property and all that kind of stuff. I'm curious, when I make more space in my time, because I know I would have to learn it. You can't just make uninformed decisions and go, oh, this is cheap. Oh, 5 minutes later, there's no quick like free lunches and things like that, right?
And I've learned the hard way. I mean, I'm very honest in the book about my learning curve. And the first year was rough. I lost money. I got scammed once.
Right.
So yeah, it was a big learning curve. But my faith in the concept or the philosophy never wavered, though.
Yeah. Well, it's 6 years on, I think we can say that you're a bit of a veteran in this field, and you should be listened to, because I'd rather listen to someone who's been doing it for 6 years than someone for 3 months, and then kind of who's been through the ups and downs. Like I have, in the last 11 years, I've been through ups and downs in publishing of what I didn't like, and what to create what I have created that I think would solve some of the issues people have. So speaking of that, how did you find writing a book through us? I mean, how did you find the process and the experience? I said you were quiet in the background, but always made it work. Was it helpful? Like,
it was super helpful. And just like we were talking about, I'm a big believer in having mentors, because if you learn from people who have made the mistakes, obviously it's going to save you a lot of heartache and time. So I've never, ever, in the last 10, 15 years, I can't even count up how much money I've spent on mentors. So I think there's a lot of value there. And going through your process, of course, you have such a jumble of thoughts in your mind, and it's so hard to know if you've never done it, and probably even the next couple of times, is how to make sense of it all, even in your own mind, let alone to somebody who's reading it on the other side. So I think your process was super, super helpful in actually sequencing what you want to say for yourself, like just going through the process of thinking it through with help and guidance, because you do have so much experience. That it was so super, super helpful. And then once you get that clarity, and plus all the support, if you ever run into any problems or anything, all your lovely staff are so supportive and helpful. So it was a massive. I honestly can't imagine having gone through it without the help, really.
You did amazing, and I love your book cover. It's so beautiful and all that. Let me show it to you guys one more time. Actually, I'm going to show you where you can get it if you want to check out all of the story and the information and the ups and downs. So if you go to Amazon and obviously look up Women in Crypto, you can get a Kindle and a paperback here. Susan's on the road, so she's not going to be going to the post office and putting them in the mail. So just go grab it from Amazon and all your good online reselling stores, and she has got her own website, cryptowomenglobal.com, which is how you can connect with her. So I just thought I'd put that up on the screen. But it's been an absolute pleasure to be your mentor on your book writing journey, and just following the things that you're doing, and just having a catch up and just finding out what all of this is about. And I'm hoping soon I'll make the time and space to just start learning about it. And I'm not in a rush, because I know it's about delayed gratification, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you want anything in life, it is about practicing delayed gratification. So I'm going to let you go to sleep, because as we said, business in Hungary, and it's like 1:30 a.m. then right now. But she's been jet lagged, so stay safe over there. You're out of your quarantine in a couple of days. Enjoy your time with your son. I'm very excited for you, and look forward to seeing you back, obviously, in Australia when you come back. So thank you so much, Susan, for educating us this morning on your expertise and genius. And everyone, go get a book and start learning. And remember, it's ecology, mindset, staying safe before you go into all the hype stuff into it. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Bye.